Hey there, buddy. Why the sad face? Have you been searching for a mixture of shit and good, but mostly shit? Well, congratulations. You found Rudebox Radio.
If everything's ready here on the dark side of the moon, play the 5 tones.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, back again after a lengthy break. It's the majestic Radio Rudebox coming at you semi-live from the hills of Beverlyshire, 90210. Yes, we're back to set the scene for you. We are in the studio here at my house. The studio is called Run It Wild. There are a few guests with me tonight. One off mic, which is Chris Briggs, my long-suffering A&R man. Can you just say hello?
Hi.
And there is Chris Heath, who is, if you are aware of Chris's work, he wrote a book about me called Feel, and we are now trying to set about writing a follow-up to that book. We don't know what it's called yet, but Chris Heath kindly joins us in the Run It Wild studios tonight.
Hi. Where's it?
Nice one. Nice. And our third guest is the ever-present, the ever-loving, the ever-lovely Mr. Bobby Summerfield.
God, ever-lovely. I love that.
Ever-lovely, mate.
Thank you, Rob.
I love you to bits. From the top of your head to the tip of your toes, I love you.
Big kisses back.
This is Radio Rudebox, a hastily arranged Radio Rudebox. Normally there's a lot more people in the room. Perhaps we'll be able to control this one a little bit better. Hastily arranged because I think I've made a bit of a boo-boo this week with a bit of a blog that went up. We're going to be doing a few things this evening, covering a few questions that have been left after one of my blogs from last week. And we shall be finding out why I've inspired this from Williams is a Cock, 21st of March, 2013, 8:23 p.m. Yeah, but you insulted Northern Uproar. OCS, and many, capital letters, other great bands that are worth more than you'll ever be, ... Williams, you're a fucking dick. Don't comment on real musicians, shouted that one, until you come up with anything half decent, you talentless fucking piece of shit. Northern Uproar, piss all over anything, and he's put that in capitals to stress the anything you and your songwriters have ever come up with, you utter prick. And One Direction make the world more exciting? ? Do me a fucking favour. They make it a better climate for knobheads like you who have no talent. Worthless puppets, just like you. That's also in capitals. You are a fucking joke. Now, listen, Mum. I know, Mum, that telephone calls are very expensive from Stoke to Los Angeles, but you do have my number and you can use... I will pay for it. Just do the reverse thing. They'll say, it's Jan, will you accept the calls? And I'll say yes. You don't have to get in touch with me on my blog. So we'll be finding out later on why that happened, and we shall also be finding out why my wife thinks I'm a prick.
Your wife as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, but and also, I've got a psychological test, so I advise everybody out there, if they want to play along with this psychological test, all they'll need is a piece of paper, a pen, and their brains. But for now...
That counts me out then.
When did you let go of your brain, Bobby?
It was about 1977, I think.
And which country did you leave it in?
Mostly South Africa, but I did spread it well.
You had a good time in South Africa, didn't you?
Good old laugh.
Right, so as I say, all you need is a pen of paper, your brain. Bobby hasn't got his, but we'll lend him one, and a pen. And we'll do the psychological test. So go and get that. For now, I would like to play one of my favourite songs at the present moment. It's called GMF, and it's by one of my favourite artists called John Grant. And the lyrics explain perfectly how I feel. Here it is, GMF. And John, I've sent you 4 emails now. Get back to me. Loads of love. This is John Grant.
You could probably say I'm difficult. I probably talk too much. I overanalyze and overthink things. Yes, it's a nasty crush. I'm usually only waiting for you to stop talking so that I can. Concerning two-way streets, I have to say that I am not a fan. But I am the greatest motherfucker that you're ever gonna meet. From the top of my head down to the tips of the toes on my feet. So go ahead and love me while it's still a crime. And don't forget, you could be laughing 65% more of the time. You could be laughing 65% more of the time. Have fun. 3% more of the time. You could be laughing 25% more of the time.
That was the majestic John Grant with GMF, the greatest motherfucker that you're ever going to meet. Right, so I have been blogtastic. I will say I don't always keep up with my bloggings. Through January, there was seldom a blog left by me. Sorry about that, friendlies in listening land, that I didn't get to you. I was up to some family shit with my baby and my wife and, you know, just feathering the nest and whatnot. To set another scene, the wife is in the nursery right now, just down the corridor here from Run It Well Studios. She's with baby Teddy, and they are doing the bot-bots before she goes to sleep. I've been on bot-bot duty quite a few times, and I've been on bath duty quite a few times, and it is an honour. My wife will be coming down later on to tell me what a prick I am. Not because I'm missing out on the bot or the bathing, but she'll explain it to you. Anyway, so I went blogtastic. I'll explain my week for the people out there. I left to go to Germany on Friday from Los Angeles, and I've exhausted all the films on Air New Zealand, my favourite airline, by the way. They are fantastic. I've exhausted all the films, so I'm a bit bored on the flight. And then I arrived in London the next day. I went to Germany. I went to do Schlaffenrab, the show out there.
That's catchy, isn't it?
And it is. I've had cream for my Schlaffenrabs,
Yes.
and it's all cleared up now. I was just talking actually on another subject completely, but I was just talking about how I think Guy Chambers has got a minty arsehole. You didn't think I was going to go there then, did you, with that, Chris? So you thought I was going to go somewhere else. Anyway, that's for another time. But then I went to Germany and I did loads of interviews and I did the TV show, and then I flew straight back from Germany to Los Angeles, and I think it's made me feel a bit cattywampus, to be honest with you. I've come back itching for some sort of fight, and it would appear that I've gone off a bit sideways. Because I've been tired. I'm going to make no excuses.
But here they come.
But here they are.
Right.
I've been tired. I've been a bit grumpy.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for somebody to take it out on.
Fantastic.
And I fired a sideways shot at Brett Anderson from Suede. And I'm now, as I always do, once I've fired a sideways shot at anybody, now feeling a bit remorseful, actually, like a big girl. The only fact that I feel remorseful about is that I commented on something that wasn't anything that Brett Anderson's really said, then blew it up out of proportion, and then slagged off an awful lot of bands in the process. So, one thing I am not is subtle. We'll be back to talk more about this after the next song, which is from a group that I slagged off in the blog. And they are the Blue Tones. Oh. And the song is called A Slight Return. And just a bit of a caveat to this. I was in the Groucho Club one evening, which is a drinking club in London. And Mr. Mark Morrison, or Mr. Mark Morris, I can't remember his name, from the band was sat with me, and unannounced or unasked for, he gave his opinion about me and my career.
Nice.
And we were just having a chat and having a drink, and he was just like, I don't like anything you've done, he said to me. I think he might have thought Angels was all right, but he definitely went, I don't like anything you've done. This was in between,
It's always good to know.
How's your day?
Yeah.
You know, how are you getting on? How's your career? Blah, 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 blah. So, you know, I know you haven't asked for a critique of your career back, Mr. Mark, but here's your only song, and it's A Slight Return by the Blue Tones.
Where did you go when things went wrong for you? When the nights came out for you? Where did you go? All you needed was a friend. You just had to ask and
Should I do a radio show, Briggsy? Yeah. The title, Briggsy, sorry, is called A Slight. That was A Slight Return by the Blue Tones. Bobby, you have...
Never heard it.
Yeah, but you've spent a lot of time in... Are you English or not?
Yeah, I was born in... Actually, I was born in... It's a good question. Born in Margate, England, obviously.
Right,
and
down in Margate.
Down in Margate. And then grew up in South Africa and been here for 26 years after that.
So you probably missed the Britpop thing.
Yeah.
So you know none of the people I've offended.
No, but actually, after you told me today, I had a quick look on the old YouTube and caught up, and I could see why you offended them.
Yeah, what is your take on that song?
Sweet. I mean, obviously subjective. Obviously, sounded dated because we're in 2013 now, and that was obviously done 1990. Just sort of 96 was it?
96. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of not memorable. I mean, the song not terrible, but that whole presentation.
I think if you had time for that to sink into your psyche and be there at the moment, it did feel joyous, and it did of its time feel amazing. So
yeah, I mean that's a big thing with pop music generally. Is when it comes out of the time. If you play a pop song from when it was a big hit today, it may not resonate with you the same way as it did then. It does resonate for me. It's like a time capsule of what I was or wasn't up to at the time. Chris, you've been with me this week.
Yep.
Biographing stuff that I've been up to. What is your take on? Because I'm feeling that I'm quite kind of having maybe a tiny Charlie Sheen style breakthrough.
It hasn't seemed hasn't really seemed that acute to me.
It hasn't seemed that acute. No, but I can. There's. It's on the fringes of. I do. I mean, you were there the morning I went. Look at this. I'm going to do this. And what did you think when I said, "Look at this. I'm going to do this"?
Well, I thought it was fair enough, I mean, it doesn't mean I necessarily agreed with every word, but, you were annoyed about something you thought Brett had said, and you thought he'd insulted One Direction and sort of teen pop music, and was putting teen pop music way below all indie music, and you reacted to champion...
I think I thought I was doing a noble thing,
yes,
on behalf of One Direction and pop music in general, to be honest with you. And I actually have done codswallop and gone at it sideways. But that's me. That's what I do. And I sort of followed the blog up with it wasn't an apology. It was I'll be doing this again.
But I mean, Charlie Sheen did what?
He fell out with his TV company and then went on the offensive and said that he had wizard DNA. He was a wizard. He was a warlock from Mars with wizard DNA. Then I think he did lots of drugs and slept with some prostitutes, which is the way to do it.
And you were a bit mean about Brett van Swade and Shed 7.
Yeah, mine's the Calpol version. Yeah, but I can see. We haven't finished this show yet. Do you know this is the
prostitutes are still coming?
This is the start of the show. By the end of it, I could be a motherfucking warlock from Mars.
The winning starts now.
The winning does indeed start now. I think so. I think we should play another song. And then she'll cover a little bit more about this blog, maybe not. If we don't do that, we shall play a game of Rate Your Day. So people at home, get ready to rate your day. And I'm going to play... The first time I met this band was on a show called The 8:15 from Manchester. And it was a show that was broadcast live from Manchester. And I was but a kid, and I was probably just 16, and I was with Take That, my new boy band that we were all finding our first steps in, and we were on a TV show that was broadcast terrestrially to the whole of the country. A mighty, mighty big achievement and a very, very exciting time.
No doubt.
We were also on the bill with this next band, who one was a floppy-haired ne'er-do-well, And they were all sort of kind of, from what I now know, looking back, suffering from a little bit of, middle class angst. And I did feel like I was part of the shit beneath their shoes for being in a boy band, and they played their instruments. Right. So, and they, everybody plays their part, and they were playing their parts, and they were playing the part of a band called Blur, who were just putting together a documentary called Star Shaped, I think. And Damon Albarn from the band has gone on to prove himself to be a majestic songwriter and a bit of a genius. And unfortunately, because I won't Charlie Sheen this. I will stay on track, on course, and just be nice. The guy's a really, really good songwriter, and Graham Coxon's an amazing songwriter too. He can pump out quite a few albums that I've really loved, and there's his guitaring is amazing. Alex James makes some good cheese, and Dave Rowntree is going to be a great politician. Is that what he's going to do? He's always been a stout geezer, a nice person. Alex wasn't too nice about us at all, and I think continues to not be nice. But he's the bass player in Blur. My nanny could do that. All she's got to do is have a haircut. This is Blur at the peak of their powers with end of a century.
She says there's ants in the carpet, dirty little monsters, eating all the mussels, picking up the rubbish. Give her effervescence, she needs a little sparkle. Good morning TV, you're looking so healthy. We all say don't want to be alone. We wear the same clothes 'cause we feel the same, and kiss the dry lips when we say goodnight. Another century, oh, it's nothing special. Sex on the TV, everybody's at it, and the mind gets dirty as you get closer to 30. Gives her a cuddle, glowing in a huddle. Good night TV, you're all made up, and you're looking like we all say don't want to be alone. We wear the same clothes 'cause we feel the same, and kiss the dry lips when we say goodnight. Another century, oh, it's nothing special. Same clothes 'cause we feel the same, and kiss the dry lips when we say goodnight. Another century, oh, it's nothing special. We all say don't want to be alone. We wear the same clothes 'cause we feel the same, and kiss the dry lips when we say goodnight. Another century, oh, it's nothing special. Oh, another century, oh.
That was End of the Century by Blur. I got a few nods from Bobby there.
Yeah, smoking, right?
You won't have heard that song either.
No, I've heard it, but I don't know it. Yeah, I've heard it.
And what turned you on about that?
But because it was really believable, I thought the vocal was brilliant. I liked the production of it; sounded organic. It's, smatterings of the Beatles, obviously. Respect to the old formative pop stuff, and nice song, really good lyric.
I had a real summer moment that lasted, probably will last a lifetime with Park Life. It's
How old is it? How old is that one?
that's like 97, isn't it? 97, 98 maybe.
Do you find a lot of the newer music
earlier.
these days? Most of it's just an old person speaking here, but a lot of the music these days is starting to get much more synthesized sounding. Right? Have you noticed? Like at least that's track. I mean, it's only 15 years old, right? It still has much more of an organic feel to it. Like,
And
it feels like
space.
space. It doesn't not all compressed and overly made to sound loud and nasty.
Yeah, but I think everybody says it, that things go in cycles. And, I hope so, because it would be nice to have
Full circle
more
back.
bands like that back in the charts.
Yeah.
The heady days of the erroneously titled indie period. What's your favourite Blur song, Chris?
Actually, either this or probably Out of Time later on.
Yeah, Out of Time's a tune. And there's the one that they released just recently called Under the West Way.
Oh, that's beautiful, yeah.
It's absolutely. So, and what he did with the Gorillaz is amazing too. I think, what he's done full stop's brilliant. And a big fan of Blur. We'll play one more song and then we'll get into Rate Your Day. Here's another great song written by Damon Albarn. It's called Connection by Elastica.
Is made. Is made.
There is Connection by Elastica. And God bless Wikipedia. Justin Frischman, lead singer of Elastica, is now living in Boulder, Colorado, where she studied visual arts at Naropa University, a small Buddhist-inspired liberal arts college, where she is currently making a career for herself as an abstract painter, which is interesting. I nearly became an abstract painter too, because I can't draw as well. I'm looking at... I'd given up pop music for a bit, and forever, and thought I was going to be a full-on artist. That was never going to happen. I made some nice things though.
You should. I tell you something. You should sell those. You got some really good. I don't know if people know. Have you told anybody? But you got some really good.
I've told little bits about it, but I've
You should definitely get them out there. They're lovely.
I've given most of the good ones away, and now wish that I could take them back. I'm looking at one of Justin Frischman's paintings, and it's very, very nice painting. I'll show that to the audience. It's not the audience of Bobby and Chris.
Yeah, big audience, but it's making a lot of noise though.
I like it.
Yeah.
So there are the first few bits of Radio Rudebox, the Britpop special, out of the way. It's making me feel all nostalgic from the middle 90s to the early noughties. About a period in my life where I was nearly allowed in on the party but refused entry at the last minute. Oh, here she is.
The spousal device.
Walking through the door.
Baby is asleep. Mommy has her.
Oh, well, listen, it's no good doing this off the mic. Bobby, would you mind sitting up for a second? Because I've got to. Would you mind sitting down so my wife can take the mic?
Are we off air here?
No, we're on air.
Oh,
we're on air. I was
rolling.
in the middle of.
You can have the mic, I'll have the wine.
No, I don't like that exchange. No, how about I sit and hold my wine
go on,
and the chocolate?
I was in the middle of bemoaning and
What were you
longing
complaining
for
about?
and being nostalgic about my time in and around the Britpop circuit.
Are we on Britpop?
Of the late 90s. Now,
Sorry, let me just have a sip of wine. I really need this.
You go on, babe. You go
No,
on, babe.
kidding.
I'll do some chatting. I've
Go ahead. I've got the chocolate now. I'm ready. Let's go.
okay.
Chocolate, red
Dark
wine.
chocolate.
Dark chocolate and red wine. Is there a better combination?
Dark
I
chocolate
think not.
made by
You're
who?
losing weight again, eh?
Do you think?
Been working out big time, or what?
I've been
the
working
heroin again,
just
though?
the heroin.
Yeah.
I've been chasing the dragon.
Oh, by the way, heroin. I did heroin for the first time with Elastica. For the first and last time in King's Cross.
This would be so nice to play back to our daughter when she's older.
Hey, listen, Daddy's been a few places,
Yeah.
and I will be the first to let her know about it and talk her through it. And I didn't like heroin; made me throw up.
I'm very, very happy about that.
Yeah, the first time.
First couple times, yeah.
It's the first couple
Bobby,
of
you've just
times.
Bobby, you've just let us in on a bit more than maybe you should have done.
I like that you would just keep going at it. I like the tenacity of that. Like, I don't like it, but I'm just keep going with
But
this.
it's like drinking. When you had your first whiskey or your first glass of wine, right?
I was like 3.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. And I loved
You
it.
didn't say, oh, good, there you go, then I'll rest my case. and I'll give it.
Abba's just
Hi,
arrived.
Abba Bear.
Our beautiful
Oh,
ginger chow chow.
Abba. She comes from England.
So she does. She comes from Epsom. Sorry.
We should give a shout out to Linda, who is her breeder, and we love Linda.
the breeder, who also we've got a Crufts champion in the family.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell
That's
them about
right.
it.
I really just know that we've got a Crufts champion in the family.
It's like
I think it's her older brother, Abba's older brother.
Ida's Abba brother.
And then
Abba's-
Evie, her sister, did well at Crufts too. I
Yeah,
can't remember
but-
what her placement was. I think best in breed and bitch class. Which is,
Basically, we've got the dog's nuts of mutts.
Yes.
In our house.
Yes.
And she's here live in the Rudebox
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
A round of applause for
Yay,
Abba.
Abba!
Look at Chris's knee.
She's been signing autographs, so she's a little tired right now.
Okay, I think we've done a lot of chats here. I'm going to
Yeah.
play a song, and then
Okay.
and then we'll come back and we'll have a heated debate about
Uh-oh.
why you think I'm a prick.
Oh boy.
Okay, I'd like to introduce this next song. It broke my heart for many reasons. One, because I listened to it and it broke my heart as a song. It also broke my heart because I wanted to instantly aspire to be as good as it. I don't think I may have got somewhere near it, but it's a song that made me want to be a solo artist in many, many ways and try and be good at it. It's Something Changed by Pulp.
I wrote this song 2 hours before we met. I didn't know your name or what you looked like yet. I could have stayed at home and gone to bed. I could have gone to see a film instead. You might have changed your mind and seen your friend. Life could have been very different, but then something changed. Do you believe
day. Why did you touch my hand and softly say, stop asking questions that don't matter anyway. Just give us a kiss to celebrate here today. Something changed.
That was the Stalla Pulp with Something Changed. I remember being at Glastonbury on, I've been to Glastonbury a couple times as a punter and once as a singer, and I'm not sure if it was my first or second time there. Perhaps it was the Oasis year, but that was the first time I met Pulp, and I was completely off my face, and made them listen to me telling my poems to them, and I got my poems out, and Jarvis got a badge and it said I am common, and it put it on my lapel, and they seemed pleased with me, and I was made up, as the footballers say. Now, Boozy.
Yeah, Newsy.
So I wrote this blog.
Yes.
And I attacked a few bands.
Yes.
I did it with noble intentions.
Yes.
And then I read you the blog.
Yes.
And you said,
well, you preface this by saying, I don't think you'll be very happy about this. So to be fair, I had that in my head already going in when I read this. Now, I, of course, am not from the UK. I am from the United States of America, where the land is great and the milk is sweet and the honey is gold. I don't know. But we don't have this big thing about pop being crap. Now, I'm understanding from the discussions that we had after this that there's a big kind of muso snobbery against bullied against systematic bullying against people in pop, which, by the way, I think is really lame. Like, as long as there are people making music that people like to listen to, it's all good. Whether it's Mumford & Sons or Justin Bieber, as long as people are making music and the people listening to that music like it, it's all good. It's all equal. It's all wonderful. There should not be...
You would think, right?
You would think. There's not a hierarchy. So, by the way, I think it's really crap that people bullied you and demeaned you.
Bully pop.
Bully pop, sorry.
Bully pop.
I'm going to use you as the symbol of pop.
Yeah, please do.
As you make me do in our house anyway.
Yeah.
She's bending down right now.
I'm bending down. I'm placing oranges around you and lighting some candles. So I think that's crap. I think that's really lame. And boo on the bullies, on the muso bullies who think they're so cool, too cool for school.
Where did I go wrong?
Where you went wrong, my newsies,
yes,
is your blog, your response to me seemed angry.
Really?
It seemed angry to me. I mean, and the truth of the matter is you're not an angry person. You are the kindest, funniest, most big-hearted person I have ever met in my life. And you walk the line of humor and truth and honesty, and it's all very poetic and spot on and lighthearted. And you always manage to surprise me and impress me with your responses to things and your perspective on things. And in this case, I feel like you let yourself down a bit. I feel like you came off angry, and And then you're no better than the people who were angry to you. You know, I feel like, you know, the best response is something clever and something to the point that kind of shows that you're above it. And so I felt like you got your point across, perhaps, but not as strongly as you could have in another way. Now, I hold my hands up to say that I could be wrong, that maybe it wasn't angry, that it was an honest response to a situation where you'd been bullied, you were standing up for what you thought was right, which you are right. It's not cool. You know, and maybe I've got this completely out of context because I come from America. I'm the land of, complete ignorance. And I don't know what goes on in the world of music.
It's all right, I'm not famous here, so they won't hear you say that.
I know. So, I could have this wrong, which I said, but I know I upset you when I said that. But to be fair, I've got to tell you, when you ask my opinion, I can't temper it with what I think you want to hear. I've got to be honest, because
but sometimes the truth hurts. You know,
but sometimes it's hard to be truthful.
Yeah.
I like to think that I was truthful with compassion, because otherwise it's brutality, and that I reserve for my mother.
Yeah.
So, just kidding, Mom.
She's not.
She's not.
She's still trained up, is she?
Yeah.
I think you're right, Boo.
I don't know if I'm right, but what I'm saying is you're a really good guy.
I write in block capitals anyway.
You do write, which comes off angry as it is.
Which doesn't mean
but
to.
It's not.
Because I'm dyslexic and I can read it back better.
But let me just say to anyone listening that my Boozies is the nicest human being on planet Earth. And you do not have a mean bone in your body. There is not anger that emanates from you. You are like the most grounded person I've ever met. And you were just speaking from your heart. And I know that your intentions were good.
If I was Jewish, I would be a...
mensch.
Yeah, I'd be a mensch.
I love you. And
I love you too, Boo.
I'm sorry I upset you with my honesty. I still maintain my opinion of the blog. But I know where your heart was, and I know that it must have hurt all these years to have been put down and patronized for singing pop music.
Condescended.
What else would you want me to say?
That's just fine.
I'm trying to read the list here.
Just the fact that you consider me to be the symbol of pop
I do
in this
consider
house
you to be the symbol of pop.
Makes me happy. I think you're right.
That you're the symbol of pop.
No, I'm the symbol of pop, but I did come off a bit as a prick a little bit. So I've upset Rick Witter from Shed 7. And Rick Witter, you don't know this guy.
No, I'm looking at you blankly.
Yeah, I know, but this guy sent a tweet at Robbie Williams tweet thing and said, we've had good chats. I've met you 3 times. We've had good chats. What went horribly wrong? Them's are the word of somebody that's hurt.
Yeah. See, you don't want to hurt anyone. Yeah, because you just continue the chain then.
Okay, Boo. So no. But I don't want to upset Rick Witter. I
don't want you to upset Rick Witter.
He's a nice guy.
He's my favorite guy.
Yeah, he's your favorite guy right now because you're beating me with a Rick Witter Twitter-shaped stick.
That's right.
And tonight, before I go to bed, you will Rick Witter me.
I will Rick...
senseless.
Yeah, I will.
And I won't be able to Rick Witter you senseless because you won't let me.
No.
That gate is closed.
That gate is closed. That's
in all seriousness, no. I'm sorry, Rick Witter.
I'm sorry, Rick, too.
In seriousness, I don't mean to upset you, Rick. You're a really nice guy. And I have met you 3 times and we have chatted and we're on a level. I'm sorry that I slagged your band off.
I think you need to write that on a blackboard 100 times.
I think I'll get a tattoo.
That I love Rick Witter.
I love Rick Witter.
Okay, I think you should do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I will. Sorry, Rick. It's fitting that the next song is about my wife. It's called The Girl from Mars and it's by Ash.
Do you remember the time when you were a girl from Mars? I don't know if you knew that. I would stay up late playing cards and you were into and cigars. And she never told me her name. I still love you, the girl from Mars. Sitting in our dreamy days by the water's edge, on a cool summer night, fireflies and stars in the sky gently glowing light from your cigarette. The breeze blowing softly on my face reminds me of something else, something that in my memories been misplaced. Suddenly all comes if you'd returned. I thought that you were standing over me. When I woke, there was no one there. I still love you, girl from Mars. Do you remember the time I knew a girl from Mars? I don't know if you knew that. Oh, it's there, they playing cards and you went doing cigars, but you never told me her name. Do you remember the time I knew a girl from Mars? I don't know if you knew that. Oh, it's there, they playing cards and you went doing cigars, and I'll still dream of you. I still love you, girl from Mars.
That was Ash, one of Northern Ireland's finest. The Girl from Mars. I do believe it's Northern Ireland. I think they wrote that song he wrote that song, or they wrote that song when they were still at school. It was like 16, and then the next year they're on top of the pop, selling loads of records and being a big indie band. I have a friend that wrote a million love songs when he was 13. So, snap, I think I could say to that. Wrote Angels when I was 20. So
a bit late
bit late, but still young enough.
Under 21 is what we say, isn't it?
Let's play a game of Rate Your Day. I'm going to go straight to Chris Heath. Rate your day. 1 being suicidal, 10 being orgasmic.
9. Been a very good day.
And talk me through your 9.
Well,
you can say what you've been up to or what we've been up to.
Well, you were recording.
Mm-hmm. Where was I recording?
Down in Capitol Studios, Studio A, where a lot of very famous records, especially in yesteryear, Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, and so on, were made. And you were recording a couple of new songs that I thought sounded amazing, and it was exciting.
And if you could corner your favourite moment of the day and point at it, what would you be pointing at?
The floor.
Which bit of the floor, when and why?
I think I spent a lot of the day sitting on the floor.
Yeah, you did, in the vocal booth, eating up my airspace. Making me feel a bit woozy, but it was good. I like having you there. You are my muse. Like Edie Sedgwick. Is that who what's his name's muse was? The famous pop art guy.
One of Andy Warhol's muses.
Okay. Chris, but you're a muse to so many different people though. Thank you for being my muse today. What was the worst part of your day?
I have to think about that.
Okay, I'll go to my baby girl.
Yes, boozies.
What was rate your day? 1 being 1 being death and 10 being orgasmic.
I'm going to say, unfortunately, a 6.5. And
Whoa.
My reason for the low marking is my back pain that I'm experiencing. Well, I threw my back out working out yesterday.
Yeah.
And it started doing this spasming situation, which was slightly painful. And I feel much better today. Yesterday, the pain was sending me to tears. Today, it's just uncomfortable and stiff, which is a definite improvement.
Isn't that how we conceived Teddy?
Which part? The pain?
The uncomfortable and stiff bit.
The uncomfortable and the stiff bit, yeah. So, but it was so brief, I don't remember.
So you've managed to churn out a 6.5 today.
Well, because
of
my
this.
day was awesome in terms of Teddy and I had some nice cuddles. We did some good playtime. She's sitting upright, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. She's 6 months old now.
She's 6
people in
months
listening
old.
land.
That's right. She's
And she
6 months
sits
old
up.
and she sits up. Not to brag,
She's
but
a sitter.
That's pretty impressive.
I'm sitting for a month or so and like big.
Nanny Jan, my mum's been over from Stoke-on-Trent.
Yes, Nanny Janny is great. She's great with Teddy.
Yeah, and just as Nanny Jan says, she's so advanced.
So advanced. So very advanced. I mean, you wouldn't know she was a baby if not for the drool and wet nappies.
Honestly, her Mandarin is incredible.
Yeah. You should have seen her fixing the carburetor yesterday.
She's probably going to go on tour with our Robert as a percussionist.
Yeah.
She's that advanced.
If that's the instrument she chooses.
I'm sorry. Okay, so
I mean, the day was
point
great.
at your best bit.
Okay, best bit.
Get your pointing finger out and say.
Okay, pointing fingers out. I'm going to say it's a split screen between my walk with Teddy around the estate and our playtime on the playmat when she was sitting up so well, so strong. If I could have high-fived her, I would have. So those are best moments. Teddy highlights of the day. Obviously, the low moments are the difficulty walking and intense back pain. But nothing insurmountable and still a good day.
As they say in The Hitman and Her, pass the mic.
Oh.
That's
the
not the mic. That's wine,
That's
babe.
the
Pass the
wine.
mic to Bob so I can ask him the questions.
I'll take the. I'll take
I was
the
gonna say
wine.
the wine's more fun.
You can ask the.
Bobbo. So rate your day. 1 being death, and then 10 being orgasmic.
Mine actually started good and then sort of got muddly bollocks.
Oh, I'm gone.
Nothing serious.
Downward turn.
Normally it's the other way around. You sort of wake up going, it's on me today.
No. I got up, I was like, all good, nice day, nice weather. Look out, Los Angeles, obviously lovely weather. Then I get a phone call at 1 o'clock. Sorry, your football game tonight's been cancelled. They're playing. So I had to email all the lads. Sorry, lads. Then it's March Madness here in lovely America, where for 1 month solid they play basketball, which is a great sport. I love it. I think
I went to Duke, and I have to give a shout out to Duke.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, I don't know anything about the
This
game
means
other than-
nothing in places I'm famous,
play,
but go on,
anyway.
go on.
Just for the one American listener,
Yeah.
my mom. I just
Okay.
say that.
But the only trouble with that is that our dear neighbours next door, who are clueless to sound level problems,
Right, as all Americans are.
unfortunately, you know
Yeah,
something.
I'm guilty of that. I am like Rob yells at
Actually-
me all the time. And you know what?
Jesus.
I never realized I was loud till I got to England. Because all my friends here, we speak at the same volume.
But
So
listen to you now.
But she's like, she is the archetypal loud America. I married one.
but like I'm not as loud as some of them, babe.
But you know, I thought
like
about this a
medium.
lot, and I know it's a bit. Sorry, excuse my back, Chrissy. But you know what it is?
You don't have to move the mic closer. I'm loud. Remember?
That's true.
Yeah.
Move it away then.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's because the American accent, right? English people are sort of a bit like dour, sound like whoa,
Because
right?
you're a sad
But
people.
yeah, they are. But that fucking weather, you know, why not?
Hey, listen, oppressed, depressed, repressed.
Repressed, everything, every rest. But the American accent, right? It's got that sound.
It's
We don't have
nasally.
that in English thing.
Uh-huh.
It's like a. And I think it comes from them being salespeople. They have to. They came out in a hustle. They were hustlers, you know. They were selling shit like buy this snake oil, and I don't mean that in a detrimental sense.
By
This
the way,
is-
Bobby,
this-
would you like to buy this chocolate?
Oh, just look at that.
This is very kind of you to say, but I will say this:
It's just kind of like Australia, and they're all convicts, kind of thing.
we were. Hey, I'm famous there. Don't. Hey, listen. They didn't play any of my records, and then you're not helping. Listen to me.
Okay.
We were in Malibu at a place called Cross Creek, but a couple of weeks ago, and we were walking the dogs on Malibu Beach, and we then went into the John Pierce store. When I say
James
we,
Peirce,
James
James
Peirce. I was in the car feeding the baby. You went into James Peirce. You did
With your
take
mom?
with my mom. Yeah, you did. You did take maybe an hour in there, which is quite impressive because there's not a lot of stock.
Listen, a lady's got to be sure about the sweatpants that she's buying.
Right. And
Not a rush decision, babe.
Lululemon ones, they're see-through.
Oh,
she loves
yeah.
the Lululemon. Shut up.
love
Let me.
Lululemon.
Come on.
Wow.
So anyway.
Cranky.
Oh, dude. So you're just being a loud American.
I think the only one talking is you.
Right, okay. So then I went into John Pierce to go and say, hey, friendly, it's been an hour. Why don't we go home? And I walked in and there was 3 other Americans in there and 1 English person, my mum and my wife. I could only hear my wife. And she was at the bottom end of the store. So, yes, some Americans are loud. Not all are. My wife seems to be one of the loudest.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll hold my hands up. I am loud.
That is. I mean, if you go into restaurants here, have you noticed?
No, because I'm loud.
No.
It's a beauty. No one else is
We
loud.
go in, we go off.
I think I just think
Different
we're
folks.
overconfident people. We talk really
There's
loudly.
nothing wrong with that. You know something?
Hey, there
the
is-
English need some of that.
We do. We're
We do.
too much. Hey, we're shit and we're proud. We're shit and we know we are.
I mean-
We can never do this. You know, it is a will do, we can do, and they do over here. England is let's not bother. Let's get pissed.
Exactly fucking right.
Anybody want to ask me?
How was your day? Sorry, I got a piece of chocolate in my mouth. How was your day? Rate it. And what was the best part and what was the worst part of your day?
Okay. I've had a wonderful day in the studio at Capital
numbers, Boo. I
A
need numbers.
and B. The numbers are, I would say I've had an 8, and it would be a 10, to be honest with you. But I've had a kind of a 7.5 anxiety. Not enough to ruin my day, but enough to be there, like an overdose of caffeine.
And why do you think that is? Do you think it's just caffeine, or do you think it's something else?
It might be something else.
Okay.
It might be the fact that I'm still jet lagged from Germany,
Right. Well, you did just fly back for
and my
like
body's
one
not
thing.
adjusted. But it's definitely there, and I definitely feel shit about the blog that I did.
Well, but you shouldn't feel bad. Listen.
No. Let me finish.
Okay.
So my favourite bit of the day is getting a smile off Teddy. That's my favourite bit. But I also have been in the studio with the big band, and they played, and I sang 2 songs. One called Go Gentle, which is about Teddy, and another one called Shine Your Shoes, which is about haters. And I had a great time with them in the studio. The worst point of my day is knowing that I've upset Rick Witter.
Listen, I think Rick Witter is a forgiving man. Everything I hear about Rick Witter, I don't know him, is that he is awesome.
Yeah.
And that I think that Rick Witter would understand that you said something in the heat of the moment with the best of intentions and it came out sideways.
I mean, I
And
think...
if I know Rick Witter, which of course I've said I don't, he will accept your apology.
And the drummer from Menswear, who I've met a few times, is actually a really good guy
is
too.
that the name of a band?
Menswear, yeah, they were like the Take That of indie bands.
Okay.
Don't like to mention it, but they were. And he is now a sort of talking journalist for Radio 6, and he's written an article in the Times, which I can't read because you have to subscribe, and I can't be arsed. But I think I may have offended him too. I apologise that I've offended you. You're a great guy. Your band was shit. Have I just undone
I think
some
you undid
good
the
stuff?
apology just now.
Did I?
Yeah. Was there a band called Women's Wear too, or
No,
was
but
it
I
just
think
menswear?
when 5'7",
Is that the band that I'm going to start?
I think when 5'7", your band disbands, you should start Women's Wear.
I'm gonna start a solo career with my band called Women's
Straight
Wear.
up, I have no gripes about calling Menswear shit. They were shit.
Okay.
Although I am now doing something else that I will later regret and feel bad
doing
for.
the good stuff again.
Yeah, I've gone a long way in the last 7 songs of making some ground back with these
Do you
people,
know
and
what I
I've
mean?
just undone
It's
it.
a bit Paula Abdul, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Anyway, listen, Ricky Lake, coming in and busting a groove all over Radio Rudebox, my show.
You asked me to come in.
I'm going to play 2 songs back to back. The first one is Cast, who were always lovely boys, and Mr. Powers. That was his name, wasn't it? The lead singer. John Power, of course it is. Head's not working. John Power's always a class guy. The Cast fellas have always been lovely with me. I have no beef with them. I'm needlessly starting no needless beef with them. This is Sandstorm. And then I'm going to quickly follow Sandstorm up with one of the most underrated bands of the indie period, in my book anyway. They're the Long Pigs. The lead singer's a guy called Crispin. He's from Leek up my way, and they spawned the ever majestic, Guinness-throated Richard Hawley, who's written one of my favourite songs with Run For Me. Anyway, Sandstorm by Cast, She Said by the Long Pigs. Boom.
Say
A change to the featured presentation. I did say that Cast was going to be followed by the Long Pigs with, she said, I'm actually going to follow it on with On and On by the Long Pigs, a song that actually came on whilst I was finishing with my girlfriend at the time when I was 21. I can't believe it. She sat down and I went, babe, we need to talk. And this song came on. Check out the lyrics. Long Pigs, On and On.
All the songs that I've sung, yeah, more often than you know, 'cause you're the love that I've come to. More often than I've let it show. And I wish you would leave me. And I wish you would go. And I wish you didn't need me. And I wish I didn't love you so. 'Cause I just can't go on. So please don't do me wrong. No, I won't do you wrong. My love for you goes on and on. There's no one else I want beside you. Give me your coldest shoulder to cry upon. You're never anywhere I find you. You're never anything I rely upon. And I wish you would leave me. And I wish you would go. And I wish you didn't need me. And I wish I didn't know. But I just can't go on. So please don't do me wrong. No, I won't do you harm. My love for you goes on and on and on and on. No, I just can't go on. So please don't do me wrong. No, I won't do you harm. My
Back we are, Radio Rudebox, from the hills of Beverly. I feel as though we've covered an awful lot of subject matter tonight. My remorse for my misdirected anger. I named and shamed quite a few bands. I said 3-chord knobheads. Anybody get signed, and it would be unfair to mention them because it'd be unfair on Echo Belly, Shed 7, Symposium, Northern Uproar, Geneva, Space Hog. Oh, I don't even know a song of theirs, to be honest with you. That was being extra mean. Who else was in there?
There's a lot.
There was, wasn't there? There was an awful lot of.
But and these songs you're playing tonight, though, are kind of the antidote to that list, aren't they?
The songs I'm playing tonight are the extra special people that pushed on through to the other side. I think in my misdirected blog, the point that I was trying to make was there was a lot of snobbery towards pop music, and to me, and to pop in general, and it is kind of a despised art form, if I may be so bold to call it such.
Yeah. It's crazy that it is, though. I mean, because as Ida said, it's a love art. It's a loved art form. I mean, the majority of people.
Well, it's it's popular music. It's the most loved art form of all. But I think that people sort of, everybody's in their own film, and I think that everybody sees themselves as the underdog. I come from this, not from my mansion in Beverly Hills, performing in front of 1.5 million people this summer in stadiums all over Europe, winning. No, but I don't come from 60 million albums, most Brits winner, most Echo Award winner of an International Mail, etc. I don't come from. No, I just overcooked the egg a bit there. I don't come from that spot. I'm coming from sort of like an 8-year-old going, "Why are you picking on me, you bullies?"
Yeah.
And there is a lot of condescension and a lot of check that talentless fat cunt out. If it wasn't for Guy Chambers, etc., etc. And
I mean, I'm sure people say that and whatever, but I mean, really, for people that have half a brain, really, other than just people that hate us, as you say. I mean, I'm not licking your ass in any way, but obviously, as a songwriter, or as you really do have to look at what you write. I mean, you've written some really good stuff. Sure, you've got some dodgy bits. Everybody has, not all. But I mean, you got to look at the quality of writing, and it's way up there. And people should really just get a clue on that. I mean, irrespective, it's in a pop bag, and if you don't like pop, people won't like pop. They're just going to put it in that bag. But, as they say,
I refer to my esteemed colleague with your summary of my career is absolutely right. So I am coming from a place of, hang on, I've been picked on here and I don't like it, and I've been holding on to a gripe for a long time and continue to hold on to a gripe, and have let go of it in a semi-weird way. But it's a weird and wonderful world, there's got to be a Kanye in this world to make things interesting, and hopefully with my insecurities and fuck-ups that I can offer every now and again, I hope people find them entertaining, which is first and foremost what I think my job is. And then I'll have a go at trying to write something that sticks in people's hearts and will live on longer than I will. And with that, we're going to play a game. It's a psychological test, and we'll come back after Fake Plastic Trees by the Radioheads.
The green plastic watering can for a fake Chinese rubber plant, and a fake plastic girl. And she bought from a rubber man in a town full of rubber plants to get rid of itself. The words around, the words around. was in my arms. She looks like a real friend. She tastes like a real friend. Make my life still love. But I can't help the feeling. I could blow through the ceiling. If I just stay, and it wears me out. It wears me out. It wears me out. It wears me out. And if I could be who you wanted, if I could be who you wanted all the time, all the time.
Holy moly! I think we've got a winner. And listening to that song there, you know, we've listened to some really choice cuts this evening, but that is the choicest of cuts. One I would give a finger for. Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead has just from a great height got its willy out and had a bit of a waz over all of the competition tonight. I just had a very proper spiritual moment with that Radiohead song there. I wish they'd go back and make another album like that. That would be great. They went all Rudeboxy, but got it right. They went all Rudeboxy and nobody went, no! I met, what's his name?
Tom York.
I met Tom York in Abbey Road. It wasn't so much of a meeting, it was a walking past in the corridor. And Tom York was walking this way and I was walking that way. And out of nowhere, he sort of did showbiz jazz hands and went, Robbie Williams! And I wanted to twat him. And that was my only dealings with Tom York. Now we're going to play, before we do the psychological test, we're going to play Nancy Boy by Placebo.
Alcoholic kind of mood. Lose my clothes, lose my lube. Cruising for a piece of fun. Let
Luxembourg's finest, Placebo. Brian Moloko, I think he's from Luxembourg.
I did not know that.
I think I'm right. We do have a Google at our disposal, but my computer is just out of reach from my fingertips. But I think, can anybody else name our band from Luxembourg? Born in Brussels. Thank you, Chris. Stato. Did he move to Luxembourg at any time, any point?
Wikipedia's not telling me.
Oh, right, okay. So he was born in Brussels. Scratch Luxembourg.
He attended the European School of Luxembourg.
Oh, right, okay. So I'm kind of right. Can anybody name another artist from Luxembourg?
No.
Can anybody name a artist from Belgium?
Jacques Brel.
Jacques Brel. Was Jacques Brel from Belgium?
I think so.
Was Plastic Bertrand from Belgium?
I think he may have been.
Can we, Stato? Any chance? Plastic Bertrand, who ça plan pour moi. I want to cover that tune.
That's a great track to cover.
We're not going to play it on this radio Rudebox because or should we?
Why not?
Okay, let's find Plastic Bertrand with Ça plan pour moi. It's a song I want to cover. And
1978, 79, right?
Maybe under the blog you can tell me if you think that's a good idea.
4th of February 1954, born in Brussels.
Yes!
Brussels.
I got a Belgique artist right. Plastic Bertrand, ça plan pour moi. Digga, 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 ça plan pour moi.
Bam bam, mon ça se place, j'ai sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant trop mon whisky. Quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. En 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, une louloute est venue chez moi, poupée de cellophane, cheveux chinois, un sparadrap, une gueule de bois, a bu ma bière dans un grand verre en caoutchouc. Comme un indien dans son igloo. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, la nana, quelle panard, quelle vibration de s'envoyer sur paillasson. Limé, ruiné, vidé, comblé. You are the king of the divan, qu'elle me dit en passant. I am the king of the divan. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, t'occupe, t'inquiète, touche pas ma planète. It's not today que le ciel me tombera sur la tête et que la colle me manquera. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, banana, c'est tiré, c'est barré, enfin c'est marre à tout casser. L'évier, le bar me laissant seul, comme un grand connard. Le pied dans le plat, ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi.
Plastic Bertrand with Ça plane pour moi. Yes, please write in the blog underneath where you think I should cover that or not. I think I'll write some English lyrics to it. So here is, I asked you at the start of the show to get a pen and paper, and this is the reason why. We're going to do a psychological test, one that I found quite fun, with Ida and myself. And I want you to write down your answers so you remember. And I'm going to go with Bobby and Chris. Bobby first.
Do I have to write it down?
No, I'll write it down for you.
Get out.
Okay. Read the following questions. Imagine the scene in your mind and write down the first thing that you visualize. Do not think about the questions excessively. So we need your first
Impression
of. Bobby, you're walking in the woods. Who are you walking with?
A horse.
A horse. Chris, who are you walking with?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Go on then.
I'm walking on my own.
You're walking on your own. I'm laughing because I know what it all means. Okay.
Did we ask you the same question?
It's made up.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell
you.
you.
The chance to think about it, right?
No, I didn't have the chance to think about it. I've got the list of.
Oh.
I didn't know what the answers were,
Okay.
but I've got my list.
Okay.
Okay. So you're walking in the woods. You see an animal. What kind of animal is it, Bobby?
A deer.
A deer. Chris,
Unicorn.
is that the first one you went for?
Yeah.
Nice. What interaction takes place between you and your deer, Bobby?
That's a good question. I would say I stroke it.
You stroke the deer. Chris, what do you do with your unicorn?
We silently contemplate each other.
Is that what's... Is that... okay.
Say no more. I like his better.
Yeah. And that was the first thing you came up with?
Afraid so.
I hope you're playing along at home. All will be revealed in due course. You walk deeper into the woods. You enter a clearing, and before you is a dream house. Describe its size. Bobby.
Sized 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
Nice little gingerbread sort of house.
Okay. Is it made of gingerbread?
Why not? Mushrooms, most probably.
Mushrooms?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Chris.
It's rectangular, one large room with glass walls.
Rectangular, one large room with glass walls. I've forgotten what this one means, so I'm not laughing. One large room, glass walls. Okay. Is your dream house open or surrounded by a fence, Chris?
This one's open.
This one's an open house. Bobby?
Open.
Open too. Okay.
Yep.
The next question is, you enter the house, you walk into the dining area and see the dining room table. Describe what you see on and around the table.
Bowl of fruit.
A bowl of fruit, says Bobby.
Nice and simple.
Yeah. What does Chris say?
It's set for a meal for 2 people, one on either side of the table.
Okay. Set for a meal for 2 people.
It's a big wooden table with benches on either side.
Big wooden.
Yeah.
Okay. You exit the house through the back door. Lying in the grass is a cup. What material is the cup made of?
A drinking cup.
Yeah, Bobby.
Canvas.
Canvas cup?
Yeah.
A canvas cup.
Yeah.
Interesting. And Chris?
Just regular porcelain, quite thick.
Porcelain, quite thick. Sturdy.
Yeah, not like dainty teacuppy stuff.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Quite thick. But breakable nonetheless.
Well, you really have to hit it on something stone. If you dropped it on the glass, it wouldn't break.
Okay. Okay. What do you do with the cup, Chris?
Well, I'd pick it up.
You'd pick it up. And what do you do, Bobby?
I'll walk past it. Look at it. Walk over it.
Oh, do you? You like packing canvas? It's useless.
No,
I've got shitloads of really nice ones home. When we're going to do this, you just walk over it.
Yeah.
Okay. Walk.
Too military for me. It looks like a bit of a sort of survival cup.
Okay. You walk to the edge of the property where you find yourself standing at the edge of a body of water. What type of body of water is it, Bobby?
Wow. Well, first,
I'll ask you again. You walk to the edge of the property where you find yourself standing at the edge of a body of water. What type of body of water is it?
yeah, it would have to just be a lake, I would say. I nearly said a waterfall, but that wouldn't make much sense.
Well, you walk to the edge of the property where you find yourself standing at the edge of a body of water. What type? Say go for waterfall, man.
Definitely, yeah.
Your first answer's always going to be the best. Waterfall. What's yours?
My first thought was a magnificent waterfall.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. Standing up, looking down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waterfall. Brilliant. How will you cross the water? Chris?
I won't.
You won't?
No. You can't get over there.
Okay, and how will you cross the water?
Climb down the side and...
You'll climb down the side.
the rocks.
Okay, climb down the side. Ladies and gentlemen, for the interesting reveal, supposedly what these answers say about your character, please join us after this next song by the Charlatans, North Country Boy, followed by 10-Story Love Song. Another change to proceedings. I did say before we left to go and listen to the Beautiful Charlatans that we were going to come back and listen to 10 Story Love Songs by the Stone Roses. I actually meant Love Spreads by the Stone Roses. In my bedroom, Greenbank Road, Tunstall, me giving it the big un. Love Spreads by the Stone Roses.
She's my sister. Let me put you in the picture, let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister, ain't no king, man, she's my queen. Let me put you in the picture, let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister, ain't no king, man, she's my queen. Let me put you in the picture, let me show you what I mean.
sister. Ain't no king, man, she's my queen. Let me put you in the picture. Let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister. Ain't no king, man, she's my queen. Let me put you in the picture. Let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister. Ain't no king, man, she's my queen. Let me put you in the picture. Let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister. Ain't no king, man, she's my queen. Let me put you in the picture. Let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister. Ain't no king, man, she's my queen. Let me put you in the picture. Let me show you what I mean. The Messiah is my sister. Ain't no king, man, she's my queen. I have a dream and save the light. Don't put it out. And she's alright. Yeah, she's my sister.
Oh, Love Spreads takes me back to a time when anything was possible. And you know what? It still is. What a beautiful world we live in. How are you enjoying your Earth journey so far, Bob?
Earth journey.
Yeah, just your Earth journey in general.
Oh, yeah, good question. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been good. I mean, yes, dead on. I'm at a stage where it's time for another road, but yeah.
And you might leave LA for pastures greener, maybe?
Well, not necessarily greener, just different. Yeah, maybe in the next 5 years or 6 years time, maybe.
How's your Earth journey, Chris?
It's quite an adventure.
It is. You're having an amazing time, aren't you?
I am really, yeah.
Yeah, and out of 10, what would you give it?
Well, I mean, I think you shouldn't give the whole journey anything more than a 7 at this point. But
really?
It's 7 because it's been amazing. But there's a lot to achieve, a lot to do, a lot to make work well.
And what colour is Sunday?
I think it's yellowish.
We'll get to this after the psychological test. Actually, for the record, I'm enjoying my time on planet Earth so much. It feels amazing to be here, and I've been afforded so much luck in this lifetime. If there is reincarnation, I doubt that I will ever be this lucky again. So thank you, whoever decides all that stuff. It might just be fate, it might just be luck, in which case I'm blown away with how much luck I've received thus far. Right, so I told you or asked you to get a pen and paper and a pen, and we're going to do a psychological test. I will now reveal the answers, and I will tell you what mine were at the same time. So, read the following questions, imagining the scene in your mind, and write down the first thing that you visualize. Do not think about the questions excessively. You're walking in the woods. Who are you walking with? The person who you're walking with is the most important person in your life. So,
That's a good sign.
Bobby said
A horse. Because
and Chris says he's by himself.
So I'm saying the most important person in my life is no one.
Yeah, well,
That's not true.
Well, you're saying the most important person in your life is you.
That's not true either.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't.
I can't step back now, but mind you, I better not say anything. 'Cause I don't know
Yeah,
the next question.
I actually.
What was yours?
Mine was Ida.
Oh, very good. Well
Yeah, yeah, and hers was me.
Oh,
And yours
Was a horse.
And yours, Chris, was you walking by yourself.
that was a cookie reply.
Right. So the next question is, you're walking in the woods, you see an animal. What kind of animal is it? I said squirrel. You, Bobby, said a deer, and Chris said a unicorn. The size of the animal is representative of your perception of the size of your problems. So let's break that down.
Oh,
A unicorn's not like problems. It's magical and amazing.
Yeah, but it's still of a size. You know, it's still horse size.
I'm going to say no.
That's a pretty sturdy size problem that you've got that you seldom share about yourself.
If we accept this made-up thingy,
I'm accepting it as gospel.
absolutely.
I'm accepting it as gospel. I I expect you accept it as gospel too, Bobby.
100%.
What did I say? Okay, so
Squirrel.
the sign represents a squirrel. I am nearly carefree.
Yeah.
I am, Chris. That's you know more about me than I know about me. But I am, Chris. I am nearly carefree. Right.
So I've got an oh dear.
The next thing you walk. What interaction takes place between your animals? And this is supposed to mean the severity of the interaction you have with the animal is representative of how you deal with your problems. So once again.
So I'm the most important person in my life. I've got huge problems and I don't deal with them at all.
Well, it's not huge because it's not huge because it could have been an elephant. You know, it could have been a sperm whale in the forest.
You get like those.
Yeah, could have been.
And so what we know about you now is, exactly, you're the most important person in your life. You have unicorn-sized problems, and you deal with these problems by contemplating them, which I think is quite passive. And you stroke your problems.
Well, yeah, wouldn't we all?
Yeah, you stroke your problems, Bobby. How are you getting on at home with these questions and answers? I'm interested to know. Please jot them down underneath the blog and let me know how you got on. So the next one,
Rob, what did you do?
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do? I eat leaves with the squirrel. Is that the right
That's
one?
what you do with your problems. You eat
One,
leaves.
2, 3. Cute. Eat leaves.
Yeah, so you eat leaves with your problems. Would you care to unpick that for us?
Well, this was a long time that I wrote this down, so it all made sense at the time. Ida, squirrel.
No,
cute.
I mean, it makes sense. That's what you did with the animal, but to interpret
I eat
it,
on my problems. I'm an emotional eater.
Okay.
Ah.
This makes sense to me.
These are a little bit like those fortune cookies.
Yeah, I reckon this makes total sense to me. The severity. Okay, so the next one is you walk deep into the woods. You enter a clearing. Before you is your dream house. Describe its size. And Bobby went with a 2-bedroom gingerbread kind of mushroomy house. Chris went with a rectangular, one large glass wall. What was it?
One large room with glass walls. Four glass walls.
Mine was an English castle. And apparently, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Apparently, the size of your dream home is representative of the size of your ambition to resolve your problems.
Interesting.
So I've got to say, I think I win.
Yeah.
Because
it's got small problems.
My ambition to solve my problem is castle size. Your is 2-bedroom gingerbread mushroom size.
Right.
And yours is a rectangular, one large room with a glass wall size. How big was this house in your?
Oh, about maybe 25 feet by 25 feet.
Okay. So
it's perfect for unicorn-sized problems.
Okay. It certainly is.
Yeah.
So, is your dream house surrounded by a fence or open? Mine was open, but surrounded by a forest. Bobby, yours was open. Chris, yours was open, and it was no fences indicative of an open personality. People are welcome at all times. The presence of a fence is more indicative of a closed personality. You prefer people to not drop by unannounced. And I will say, I've never been to Chris's house, but I've been to Bobby's house, and I feel that I can pop by unannounced at any time. So that's about right.
Although, no, actually, I prefer people probably genuinely not to drop by. But I figure in a forest, they're not going to anyway. If it had been in somewhere else, I would have wanted a fence.
So you don't like people just dropping by then? So
in theory, I like it. But
You're
I'm
the
not
most
great at
important
it.
person in your life that doesn't like people.
Unicorn. Just unicorn.
With unicorn-sized problems. The size of your dream home is representative of the size of your ambition to resolve the problems.
But you are welcome anytime.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. You enter the house, you walk to the dining area, and you see a dining room table. Describe what you see on and around the table.
Oh, the around bit. I didn't fill that in, did I? But carry on.
So, Bobby wrote, or I wrote down, a bowl of fruit.
Right.
And Chris wrote, set for a meal for 2 people on a big wooden table with chairs. Benches. If your answer did not include food, people, or flowers, then you're generally unhappy. Congratulations. Mine had cake and tea.
Oh.
You exit the house through the back door line in the grass as a cup. What material is a cup made of? I believe that you said canvas. Chris said porcelain. I said mine was a gold chalice.
Different levels. He's got different. Is it in castles and gold?
The durability of the material, apparently, with which the cup is made, is representative of perceived durability of your relationship with the person from number 1. For example, styrofoam, plastic and paper are disposable. Styrofoam, paper and glass ceramics are not durable, and metal and plastics are durable. So your relationship with yourself, Chris Heath, is not that durable. The relationship with the horse is not durable whatsoever.
No.
And mine, I think I win. I win again.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, with my gold chalice.
I'd like to point out to the people listening, it's not a competition.
It's at Radio Rudebox. It's always a competition.
Hey, with Rob, it's always a competition.
It's always a competition. The tone of my Britpop discussion throughout the whole evening has been a competitive and combative one. What do you do with the cup? Well, Bobby walked over it. Chris picked it up. And I picked it up too. The disposition of the cup is representative of your attitude towards the person in number 1. So you pick you up. You pick the horse up.
No, I walked over it.
Oh, and you
fuck it.
You walked over it. You don't care too much for your horse.
No,
It kind of you choosing a horse with number 1 has kind of blown the whole thing really for you.
It did really.
Yeah. Okay. You walk to the edge of the property where you find yourself standing at the edge of a body of water. What type of body of water is it? I, for example, had a Swiss lake. And you two both had one. You had a majestic waterfall, and you just had a plain, Common Garden waterfall.
Victoria.
The size of the body of water is representative of the size of your sexual desire. So you have a majestic sexual desire, you have a common garden sexual desire, and I have a Swiss lake. A Swiss Geneva-style lake.
Right.
Last one, how will you cross the water? And you said, Bobby...
I'll climb down the side.
You climb down the side. Chris said, you won't. And I said, why do I have to cross the water? How wet you get in crossing the water is indicative of the relative importance of your sex life. Interesting.
So I don't get wet at all.
So you walk all over your sex life with yourself. You don't get wet at all. And I wouldn't go across. I just wouldn't go. I refuse to go.
Too.
So you refused to go too?
I said I wouldn't go. I mean, I just took...
Mine was in the form of a question, though. Mine was, why do I?
No, I was just like, I'm not doing it. But
I think we've learnt very, very little from this test.
I agree entirely.
When I did it with Ida, it worked a treat. When I've done it with you two, it's we can't. Well, it's not your shite. It's just you've made a pig's ear of it. Live on radio, kind of live on Radio Rudebox. Go on, Chris. What are you going to say?
I don't know. It's very weird judgment, and also all your answers that have worked out really well for you, like the castle and the gold cups and the Swiss lake.
Yeah,
I think that's just shopping, isn't it?
What, shopping for me? What I do of an evening on the internet anyway. So we could go to Geneva, babe. The tax there's perfect. I think it's probably last night's shopping on the internet for me, yeah. Can you buy a lake in Geneva on Amazon? I'm sure Ida will try to at some point. Let's play a few more songs and then I think we'll wrap Rudebox Radio up for this session.
Our first one of 2013. When was our last one?
Was it 2011?
It most probably was. You know,
Was there no Rudebox Radio for the whole of 2012?
No.
I gave that up as a bad idea, didn't I? And here we are.
Because you went on tour though. You were working.
Oh yeah, I'd got shit to do.
Just a bit. And then the last one was. What was the last one? Last Rudebox. It was the Christmas one.
edition. Yeah, but I like this. I like this small,
more manageable.
More manageable. We shall do another Rudebox, and we shall bring some old
geezers,
old faces back, including Gwen, the oldest face of them all.
Oh yeah, Gwen.
Nana Gweed. She's doing well. If anybody needs to know out there in listening land, my not so long suffering mother-in-law, but my suffering mother-in-law. I love her to bits. Here is a song by the Manic Street Preachers, and it was the first time I saw this was on that video show that used to be on Saturday. What was it called? Video Vault or something, or the Video Charge show. And it was the first guitar band that sort of pricked my imagination at school. And they had this video of them, and they were in Japan, and they were outside of a Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel had a clock on it, and you could see by how many takes they'd made what time it was, and this intrigued a 14-year-old me. It's Motorcycle Emptiness by Manic Street Preachers.
Somebody else.
Motorcycle Emptiness by the Manic Street Preachers. Nicky Wire, whenever I've met him, has always been really lovely with me, and I always like bumping into the Manic Street Preachers. I'm terrified of James Dean Bradfield. He's always got. Do you know the Manic Street Preachers?
I never heard of him.
You're kind of like disco guy.
Well, no, actually, and also I've been living here 26 years in America. 26 years.
Right.
I missed a lot of the Britpop because so it's amazing how separated America and England or Europe or the rest of the world rather is.
What's your style of music? Here you go. I'm Bobby, and I relate mostly to.
Well, I mean, I love many styles of music. I mean, artists, pop artists. I mean, if you want to grab a couple out, I mean, I like Pete Gabriel, those sorts of artists, which are the old school kind of lads from pure pop sort of things. I mean, I love Muse. I love current pop bands. I love a lot of great bands. But if somebody said what sort of music you like, I mean, I kind of like gravitate towards the old R&B sort of stuff, which is
like who?
From Sly, Rufus and Chaka, the old school Earth, Wind and Fire sort of stuff, which is sort of kind of jazz funky sort of stuch. I like that sort of stuff.
And you've got we're sat in the room. We've all got an eclectic taste of music. I think we can all agree on that. But Chris, where if you had to sort of go, I'm Chris Heath, and this is the music that I relate to the most. What is it?
I really do listen to things crazily all over the place, but I think that there's a kind of music that you listen to at a certain age in your life sticks at you in a different way. So there's a whole kind of 80s pop, early 80s pop that is still incredibly powerful for me. And then the Smiths and things like that, they were the first group that I don't even particularly know, that I really thought they were telling me loads of things about what it was like to be alive that I kind of felt but had never heard anyone say.
And if you didn't,
when you find someone like that, it's crazy powerful.
If you didn't have to think too much about it, and which is the first one that pops in your head, because the question itself is a very difficult question, but you will get an album that will flash in your head. Which is your favourite album? Go. Which one that came up?
Lexicon of Love by ABC.
Oh,
okay,
great record.
I signed an A&R.
Chris Briggs
really?
over here.
Congratulations.
Signed an A&R'd ABC. Shoot That Poison Arrow, indeed.
That was a great album. We used to love it.
Bobby.
Did we know that about each other, Heath?
No.
Rumours.
How extraordinary.
Rumours, Fleetwood Mac is the first one that came up.
Yeah.
Instantly, the one that always comes up for me is Behaviour by the Pet Shop Boys. I have a proper long-standing love for that record, and I had a nourishing. It was sort of in the Take That days when things weren't so great. It didn't, there was a bit of a panic, and it didn't feel great what was going on around me. And I think that record helped me through an awful lot. And for the Pet Shop Boys, I shall be ever grateful for that. So
it's a tough question you asked, though, because
but one will come up, because there's no definite answer to that. What's your first song that you bought? Can you remember?
Something was an album I bought. The first song, it was a whole. Actually, no. Something. The first song was Sam Sham and the Pharaohs. Woolly Bully.
Woolly bully, woolly bully. See, would that be considered a novelty song at the time?
I would say so, yeah.
Right, okay. What was your first song?
Well, I'm going to say the first single that I bought, because it's much cooler than the first album that I bought.
Right.
The first single that I bought was Pretty Vacant.
First album that you bought was Pretty Vacant?
No, this first single was Pretty Vacant.
Oh, really?
By the
Okay.
Sex Pistols.
Now do your uncool thing.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you do.
No one remembers buying the Best of Deep Purple.
Oh, the Best of Deep Purple. There's nothing wrong with that.
24 karat purple, in fact. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Did you enjoy it though?
I enjoyed it at the time, and then usually when you love something when you were young, you play it again when you're older, and it brings back all the memories. And I remember playing it driving through Scotland about 15 years later, and I just couldn't understand how I'd ever liked it. It was so awful.
You couldn't relate to the person that you were then.
No.
What was my two first CDs I bought? I remember vividly, and it was Glenn Miller's Greatest Hits and License to Ill by the Beastie Boys. And
It's eclectic.
Isn't it?
that now, come on, that's
Yeah.
eclectic
That's
as
big.
fuck.
That is
That's
big time.
Rudebox in one moment.
That is. That was the guy that went on to make Rudebox. Yeah, the Good Doctor. My first two albums, I wanted Electro One, which was a compilation of street. Of urban stuff from America, which gave me a love for electronic music and hip hop. I didn't get bands at all, so I was cool at one point, and that was the point. And then I think my sister bought me Prince Charming. Was that an album? Was that the album title? Adam and the Ants.
Yeah.
And Pink Floyd, The Wall, that I never listened to. Chris.
You didn't listen to Pink Floyd?
No, I never did. I was just mad into this electro album and couldn't understand the other thing. What was your first record?
First album was the first Stones album. So considerably older than you.
What was the first Stones album?
It's just called the Rolling Stones.
Uh-huh.
What was the first single? I used to get records from my uncle off the jukeboxes, so I didn't buy singles. I used to get given them. What do I remember? Buddy Holly, That'll Be the Day.
Wow. And I will answer. I would dare say that After the Gold Rush was probably be the first album that comes into your head when I say, what is your favourite album, Chris?
It's Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere or After the Gold Rush.
Okie doke. So there we have
Between the
it.
two.
On favourite albums, a nice bit of music chat there. Play a couple of tunes. This is 17 by Stephen Duffy from the album I Love My Friends, and I love Stephen Duffy.
I was born in Birmingham, but soon I would escape. With education incomplete and 2 songs on a tape. When my girlfriend was expelled, we took the London coach. Her sister gave her daffodils, her mother an old brooch. And she smiled, and she smiled, and she smiled. She was so beautiful, 17. She was so beautiful, 17. We didn't have much money then, no hi-fi or TV. So we made love, I'd sing her songs, she would read to me. But we were young, I didn't know what love was all about. When I slept with her best friend, of course she threw me out. And we cried, and we cried, and we cried. She was so beautiful, 17. She was so beautiful, 17. I was looking for a deal, looking for a hit. The affectations of success, the airs that go with it. While she was looking for a man who didn't need a maid, she modeled for an agency
coming up next is Fade Away by Oasis, and it's another great tune that I had a proper moment with. I was at my mother's new house in Newcastle-under-Lyme, in the garden, listening to this track over and over and over and over again, and I sort of, the doors of guitar music had suddenly opened up to me. I didn't completely get it or understand it, and then Boys Who Love Girls Who Like Boys Who Love Girls by Blur was I was in Take That, and I was into hip hop. That's the only thing I was really into. And then the Blur song came out, Boys Who Love Girls, because I was like, well, that's interesting. I now like this. Brilliant. And that led into a love for Oasis and a love for many of their songs. And this one in particular, I think, was off an album that was for War Child.
Yep.
Johnny Depp's playing on it, and it's Fade Away.
While I was young, I thought I had my own key. I knew exactly what I wanted to be. Now I'm sure you bought it up every door. Lived in a bubble, days but never ending. Was not concerned about what life was sending. Fantasy was real, but now I know much about the way I feel. I'm gonna paint you a picture. I don't think you live round here, no. Never even seen the key to the door. We only get what we will settle for. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away, away, away. We're gonna fade away, away, away. And now my life has turned another corner. I think it's only fair that I should warn you. Dream it while you can, and maybe someday I'll make you understand. I'm gonna paint you a picture. I don't think you live round here, no. Never even seen the key to the door. We only got what we will settle for. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away. While we're living, the dreams we have as children fade away, away,
You know it.
Fade Away by Oasis, a wonderful melancholy vibe. Noel Gallagher, an amazing songwriter, given the keys to the kingdom and beating everybody over the head with some wonderful melodies and some great in-your-face guitar playing and attitude. And they were the princes of England during the Cool Britannia phase. And it was very interesting to be in and around that and to feel the spirit of that. And there hasn't been that sort of same spirit ever since, I don't think, and there's always been a musical sort of movement in Britain in one form or another. You couldn't, go 5 years without we going from, mod to new romantic to punk to, not in that order, and then rave and then guitar and then nothing.
Dubstep's a little bit of a touch, but nothing.
Yeah, but it's not a movement.
No.
It's not. You don't know what clothes you're wearing to go dubstepping. There's no whole streets of people going, come on, let's go dubstep.
Yeah.
Or down the park going, I'm a dubstepper.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing my dubstepping shoes. Why is that, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, I guess some people think that, pop music's sort of running out of steam a bit. But I also think that one reason is that as more and more older generations like pop music, it used to be that just people under 40 like pop music. And now everybody likes pop music because they've all grown up through it. And also everyone's really keen on finding the new thing. And I think when you've got a load of 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds and 40-year-olds keen on finding the new thing, I think it can suffocate the new thing.
Well, I've always thought there's something to rebel against when something happens. Like, there's shit, we're this, go. And I think there's plenty to rebel against right now, musically, but also what's happening with the world and what or is or isn't going on with how people are being treated by the governments, the recession, etc., etc. Normally, this is the time of great upheaval and great voices that rise and go, no, we're not fucking having this. Have a load of this. And there's a power that just seems to be, not that I'm doing anything about it. I'm in a mansion in Los Angeles. What do I know? But there seems to be great apathy as regards to.
I think people.
There's like, no, go. I mean, it's just like, where are the Billy Braggs and the Clashes and.
Do you find that though? Generally in the world, people have become more pliable, almost. That's what it is, I suppose. But for the 60s, you're referring to, of course, and all the anti-war movement, certainly in America and all over the world, and the Lennons of the world, and all that rebellious voices. These days, as you said, the US has been at war for a long while. Nobody really said anything because I don't think music has the weight anymore. And I think also people are becoming more and more opaque a little bit. They're sort of like, somebody else will deal with it. And it doesn't seem, in the world, there seems to be a little bit of a shift.
An apathy. Why do you think that is?
I think people are having a better life throughout the world and they have less of a struggle.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris?
I don't think people are having a better life necessarily. I think
you're having a better life, Bobby.
I think, you could say that it may be because people have realised after, 40 years or whatever it is of rebellion through pop music that actually doesn't do very much. And maybe people look for other avenues.
I don't know about it not doing much. I think it did. I think it gives,
I think
it's good to have a place to go and complain.
Oh, I think it makes great pop music and it makes for a very exciting experience, especially being a teenager and articulating your place in the world and your place against things. I just don't know that it necessarily has been amazingly effective for changing the world.
Do you think that the consumerist world that we've become also we're sort of mollycoddled and medicated at every level, from as soon as you wake up with an internet, a computer, a TV, a radio, a celebrity. Do you think there's more places to go these days to not be bored?
Well, I think it's easier to paralyze yourself, but you could also say potentially there's more freedom to learn more things, find more things, explore more things, change more things through all that. Now, with most people, probably it tends to paralyze, but it could go either way, I think.
What do you think about the quality of music that's being made right now?
I think there's a lot of really, really good music being made and a lack of really exciting music.
What do you think about the quality of music that's being made?
That's well, quality again is a tough one to
intangible,
exactly. But there is a lot of good music being made, and much probably more good music being made per number than it was 15, 20 years ago. But it's just much harder to find. But unfortunately, there is a lot of music being made, more so than ever before, because everybody and their grandmother are a producer with a laptop, and they think they are, and some of them are doing fantastic work, but it's still a lot of noise, and so it's very, very hard to answer your question. I'm not massively thrilled with most of the music I hear these days, because most of it, as you get older, you've heard a lot more of it. I've heard a lot of the original guys that these guys are emulating, so you become a bit old, it's basically, or jaded.
It's a print of a print of a print.
And also more of the, you talk to a point where demographics, we've been demographed to death, where everybody's like, well, if he's got green hair, then he'll like this, and if he likes this, then he likes that. So the music is being homogenized so much so by even bands now. They're trying to hone their music to people that want this style of music more so than doing what they really want to do, or not
them being creative and going, this exists nowhere, let's do this.
Absolutely, because there are so many. It's amazing how, from a technical standpoint, music's been, as we have a lot of great recording technology these days, and lots of ways to do fantastically good records. But the majority of people sit down and they'll use the same old homogenized sound and the same technology that everyone else is using, just so that they'll be the same, as opposed to a band will sit down, or an artist will say, no, I want to sound like this. Beck was one band that he was a bit twisted.
Well, I've started working with Guy Chambers again, and it's the first time. Yeah, it feels really good, and it's the first time in forever that I've written songs by sitting with Guy on a guitar, or sitting with Guy on a piano and singing over the top of a piano being played in the room, or a guitar being played in the room. So I got bored of doing that, and I wanted to do it a different way, and I wanted to make sounds, and I wanted to make some noise music. And it's taken me however long. How long since I've been writing with Guy? Did we work out it was 10 years?
It's about 10 years.
It's about 10 years. It's taken me 12 years to come back to what I used to do, and it's very exciting, and I think we've managed to grow something that's authentic, really? And by going back to the past, it kind of sounds new too.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's very exciting to get back in a room with Guy, and because Chris was here and the other Chris was here when it was happening, and there was like 15 minutes of, for me, panic where nothing happened. I was going, in my head I was going, oh shit, he's going to be heartbroken, I'm going to be heartbroken, this isn't going to work. And then we went fa-dum, 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 fa-dum. And it was 5 songs in 4 days or something ridiculous like that.
Well, I think it's both of the songs that you recorded today, the beginnings were done that first night, weren't they?
Yeah, the most amazing thing is we wrote a song called Blasphemy, which was the last song I wrote with Guy 10 years ago, and that ended up on Reality Killed the Video Star. The first song that we wrote after that was the song for Teddy, which is Go Gentle. Go Gentle, which is, we're singing it today in Capitol with a big band. Something special's happening with that track. I can feel it in my bones. So I'm very pleased to say it was, after the first 15 minutes, like riding a bike, a very well-oiled bike that needed and wanted to be ridden again. I'm going to go back to the very, very start now. After I left Take That, hung out with Oasis, and I think it was Meg Matthews, who was Noel's wife at the time, put me in touch with Owen Morris, who produced the first couple of Oasis albums, and he said he was interested in working with me, and of course I wanted to do anything to do with Oasis, and was thrilled that he would even think of me. So we went down to his place in Wales, and his place in Wales was a cow shed, and in one half was this big desk, and then in the other half was cows, and we got off our faces, and as we do, I mean, completely brilliantly. And we also would come back from these writing sessions, because we'd write in this cowshed in a field, and then I'd get dropped back at the pub, which was a B&B, and we'd play these songs that we'd written, and the car would be silent, because we thought we'd written the best thing that's ever been written, ever. Yeah. And our minds were blown that we'd managed to do this. And whoa, and this is going to be the biggest thing ever. Yeah. And we didn't manage to do that, you know, but I'm very, very fond of this next track. You were about to hear a demo that I unearthed. The quality isn't very good of the actual of the actual quality of the recording. I'm quite fond of this song. It's never been heard publicly before, and I would say it's the first song that I wrote after leaving Take That, and it's called Go Now.
It's you that makes me miserable. My friends tell me to leave. As we rock and roll, we popped a lot. We never really talked a lot. And I should say never, but I don't. While you were living lavishly, you treated me quite savagely. They say that I forget you, but I won't. Go now, go now, go now. Go now, go now, I'm staying away. Go now, go now, go now. Go now, go now, and stay. You should stay. Sometimes I break down and cry as I fall from the stars down to the sky. I wanted to stay so high, but you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me. Sometimes I break down and cry as I fall from the stars down to the sky. I wanted to stay so high, but you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me. Sometimes I break down and cry 'cause I look at my scars and wonder why. I wanted to stay so high, but you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me.
Oh, times past. The Owen Morris demo of Go Now. Me in all of 95, 96. Bless it, bless me, and bless all that's ailing me. Okay, so I had there's been a few questions posed to me underneath the blog, and I couldn't fish them all out because it wasn't like a question. It'd be like people writing an awful lot of stuff, and in the midst there would be a question for me. I'm not going to have many because I think we've gone on quite a bit now. But there was an interesting one from Zoe England. You've moved on in the last 20 years. Do you feel completely moved on from Stoke-on-Trent, or will you move back one day? So you're a Margate guy.
Yeah.
I'll get back to me in a minute. You're a Margate guy. Are you finished with Margate?
I am.
When did you leave Margate?
Fucking hell, when I was 1974.
So how old were you?
14, 13.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So long enough for it to make an impression
Oh,
on you.
yeah, big time, yeah.
Chris, you were from Warwickshire?
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Whereabouts in Worcestershire?
Just a few miles outside Worcester.
And are you done with Worcester?
I'm not done with it. I still have very strong links there. Still have family there. And I love going back there. I couldn't ever imagine living there. Permanently, anyway.
Yeah, the thing is about Stoke and me is that I there's a huge part. My heart seems to be there, and I have an interesting dilemma that I don't think I have to worry about for a while. Cross my fingers. It's like if we stay in Los Angeles, if this is our home for the rest of time, I just not going to want to be buried in Stoke-on-Trent. Another person has asked me where I go to visit when I'm in Stoke. I can't remember who it was, I'm sorry. But my favourite place to visit when I'm in Stoke is my grandma's grave at Tunstall Cemetery. And I've always thought that that's where I would end up. At the cemetery in Tunstall. But of course, now I've got an American bird as my wife, and I plan to be with her for the rest of time. Her grandma is in a cemetery out here, just down the road, where, and her grave is constantly in the sun. I'm like, wow.
Bit better.
Nice place to end up. Where are you going to bury? Where are you going to be buried?
I can honestly say I've given that no thought ever.
Really?
I don't even think I'm not that bothered about being buried.
Do you think you'll just? Well, there you go. There's. I could be cremated, I suppose. Or are you just not planning on dying?
Well, that'd be lovely, but no, I think I probably will.
So you'll be cremated.
I haven't made a decision about it, but maybe, yeah.
What about you, Bob? Have you thought about where you'd be buried?
Yeah, I'd most probably choose where my dad, he was cremated, and I sprinkled his ashes in Rocklands, Cape Town. It's a little beach in Sea Point, Cape Town, which is a brilliant little beach. And I'd most probably go for that because it's most probably the best place in the world. Cape Town, South Africa. So I'd go there.
Yeah, I haven't thought about.
It's not exactly cheery, is it? Really, in the middle of.
Well, listen, I don't feel sad about it for some reason. You know, it's just, you know, it's an inevitability. I might have to take the cremation on board. It might be. So I've always thought I was going to be buried. Do Catholics get cremated? I don't think they do. Can you cremate a Catholic? Can you?
Oh, you certainly can.
Yeah, oh, can you?
I don't. God, I'm quite ignorant about this, but I don't think there's any. Is Chris, do you know? Is there some impediment?
There's no impediment to cremating a Catholic. That wasn't the question anyway. I was sidelined. Do you think you'll move back to Stoke one day? In a romantic view, in a romantic version of my life, I would like to think that I do. I think the realistic version is probably not. You know, will I end up in Los Angeles? Probably not. There is, I hope that I'm alive long enough for many different voyages, and who knows where I'll end up. You know, I'm a big fan of a tropical beach. Maybe, you know, I'll end up on one of those in several thousand million pieces one day. Who knows? So let me see if there's any other questions that I did jot down. If you were a chocolate, what chocolate would you be, Bobby?
Me, I'd be 63%.
63% milk. Black.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ting. I like that.
Come on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So which 63% of you is
Just
black?
the lower part.
Okay. What would you be?
I think I'd just be milk chocolate.
I think I'd be milk chocolate, but I think that I'd like to think that I'm a minstrel, but I'm not. I'm a counter. I'm sure I'm a counter. I think somebody's pointed this out on the blog. I like to think that I'm a minstrel with some form of shell of protection, but sweet on the inside. I'm actually shellless with a big chance of melting at any time. I think that is the truth. Let me ask you this. Chris Briggs, what colour is Saturday?
Oh, it's red.
Saturday is red to Chris Briggs. Bobby?
Mine's probably blue.
Yeah, I've got a royal blue for Saturday. Saturday?
I think a purplish blue.
Okay. What colour is Sunday, Bobby?
Red.
Sunday's red?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I'm going to wear red. I'm playing football.
Oh, okay. Sunday is?
I think I already committed to yellowish.
I committed to a yellow Sunday.
Orange or yellow.
Oh, it's better.
Okay, like a burnt sort of yellow, and I said it's yellow because it's Sunday and it's quite literal, and you said that was wrong. Why is that wrong, Chris?
I didn't say it was wrong. I just said it was very, very literal.
Okay, why have you got a yellow Sunday then?
Well, I mean, I believe you have to just pluck it out of the air. These colours and days. We were talking about this in the car the other day.
Yeah,
and it's based on an old Smash Hits question: what colour is Thursday? That we used to ask. We were talking about interviews, weren't we?
Yeah, I think that Monday school. When I was at school, Monday would have been a brown,
big time.
Big turdy brown. But what's a Monday for you now, Bob?
Possibly a white.
A white?
Because Monday's like my Friday. It's like, it's sort of like...
It's a clean slate,
yeah,
maybe.
Like,
Virginal.
What
can we fuck up here?
And I generally do. By halfway through Monday, I've found I've got a good start on fucking up most things.
Well done, Bob. What's your Monday?
I was suddenly thinking black, but I didn't mean black like negative, dark, horrible torment, but kind of almost like a clean slate with a different clean slate.
Okay. I would ask people under the blog which day of the week is green, and also what is Saturday to you under the blog. In fact, give me the whole 7 days in the blog, what colour those days are. And I think with that ridiculous question, silliness, I think we should end tonight's session of Rudebox Radio, for I am now jet lagging. The German pace of things has caught up with me. It's time to go and kiss my baby girl on the forehead and jump into bed with my beautiful wife. I love Britpop. I love indie bands. I love guitar music. I love most of the people I slag off and have slagged off. I apologise to Rick Witter personally. I don't apologise to Menswear. I like the drummer from Menswear. He's a really nice guy, but they are crap. And I'm going to play 2 songs. My favourite song of the 90s, at least one of them, is Yes by McCormack and Butler. And to play us out after Yes by McCormack and Butler is How This All Started. Praise be for Suede with their new album Bloodsports, and the title of that song is aptly It Starts and Ends With You. From Beverly Hills 90210, I'm Robbie Williams, joined in my studio with Chris Heath, Bobby Summerfield, and my long-suffering A&R man, Chris Briggs. You are the friendlies, you make me proud. I love you all. I'll see you in summer. Speak to you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.